Hello, good evening. Welcome to a new interview on meetingvenues.com. I'm very happy to welcome Nana Ponceleon, talking to us from New York. Good afternoon, Nana. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Meetingvenues.com. I'm very happy to welcome
I'm well. How are you?
talking to us from New
Thank
York.
you for inviting me.
Good afternoon, Nana. How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
There is a feedback on your computer.
There is.
Do you mind, yes, using a headphone?
Let me get the headphones.
Okay, very good.
Technical issues.
Yes.
How is this?
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Excellent. So, Nana, if, I want to welcome you again to our live interview. Great to have you.
Thank
And
you. I
if
hear
you
a
don't,
feedback as
if
well,
you,
but I
do-
don't know.
I will ask and put my mic to mute. Maybe this will help later.
Okay.
Yes. Tell me, I see you are basically from Venezuela. Were you born in Venezuela and moved to New York to study, or you were born in the United States? Tell us, how did you make the move from Latin America to the United States? I see you are basically from Venezuela. Were you born in Venezuela and moved to
So
New York to study, or
I
you were in
was
the United States?
I was born in Venezuela. Yeah, yes. So I was born in Venezuela and I came to the United States when I was 1 year old with my father because he studied in Louisiana. And but then we went back to Venezuela and I studied there and I came back for college. I've been back and forth all my life between Venezuela and the United States. And recently, 9 years ago, I came back to study acting because my first career was business. So that's how I got here this time around.
Yes, so I see you worked basically, I think I saw in Microsoft for 11 years.
Yes, I did. I worked in
Mm.
sales in Microsoft. Yes.
Excellent. And tell me, why did you feel you need to change career? I imagine you had at the time a family, and
Well,
I think it's a very critical decision for someone to change career completely after he gain, of course, experience.
yes. So my change of career didn't happen because I had this epiphany that I wanted to change careers. I was working at Microsoft and I have two daughters. At the time, they were, little girls. And okay.
Nana, I was asking you about changing your career, your decision, and you've been telling me you have little daughters, but I want to know, how did you take the decision and what did you feel at that time? Did you feel that you something is missing in your life, or what did you feel?
Yes. So, like I said, I was in the corporate world and I had little daughters at the time, and I was feeling very, very stressed. So, long story short, I resigned from Microsoft. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I had to stop the corporate world for a little bit. And then I went to an acting workshop as just a way to relax, as a hobby. I just went there. A friend suggested that I go there and take some time off and relax. And when I walked into that black theater, it was it was magical. I just said, this is the place for me. And just to clarify, I was involved in singing and dancing ever since I was a young girl, but my mom liked it as a hobby, not as a career. So never pursued it as a career, as my first career. So when I went into that place, it was, I said to myself, yeah, this is what I wanted to do all my life. And I haven't stopped ever since.
Great. I see that your first credit here in the Internet Movie Database, it was in 2007, es en una telenovela, se llama Más fuerte que el destino, correct?
Right. Más
That
fuerte que
was produced in Venezuela?
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a telenovela, it was a mini series. And actually, it was a satire of a telenovela. It was a wonderful project to work on. I was the owner of the house where the telenovela was being filmed. So you would see both sides of the story. You know, you would see the telenovela, and then you would see the life behind the telenovela or the location where that was being shot. But it was a satire. We sort of we're making fun of telenovelas, actually.
Yes, 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 and yes. But and later on, how did you manage to have a career between Latin America and the United States? I see you did a lot of short films, long features, during the last
Yeah.
10 years.
Yes, and it all started in Venezuela, really, because, like you said, Más Fuerte que el Destino was one of the things that I did. I was in 3 feature films also in Venezuela, all won awards. And the big one was La Hora Cero, the 0 hour, which actually made it to HBO, and it aired on HBO for about a year. And then I decided that I needed to study, because all these films and things that I was doing after I did workshops, but not like formal studies. So
Yes.
I guess, intuition and my passion for the arts guided me in those days. But I said to myself, I need to study. I need to actually go to school, as I did for business and computer science, and study it. So that's why I came to New York. I studied at Stella Adler. And then I just started auditioning here and networking. And, I've been very blessed to have done quite a few things here in the US.
Great. I have here on the chat, if you can see the chat from your side, we have Janet Salvatierra and Eddie Lizardo is viewing us. Buenos dias.
Yes.
And
Amazing. Love you guys. Thank you.
I will write them if they
Actually,
like
Janet,
to
Janet
ask you something.
Well, Janet Salvatierra was my boss in Microsoft at one time.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. She's listening right now. I am as well studied not business engineering, but I worked in film distribution and sound system after I graduated. And right now, if she's still in Microsoft, I work on automation right now beside my work on my online websites and YouTube channel. So I think all the technique helps. Let me ask you a question, Nana. Do you think your business study helped you in your acting career?
It absolutely did. I never realized it at the beginning, because I remember when I resigned and then I started in acting, I wanted nothing to do with business. I didn't want to see an Excel spreadsheet. I didn't want to think of sales and marketing. I just wanted nothing to do with that. And I remember my therapist, I did therapy for quite some time also. He told me, you're going to find your power when you put both worlds together. And I must say that I do use my business savvy or knowledge to market myself. And I've sort of broken many rules that they tell you in acting school, that things you shouldn't do. And I just go by my instinct.
Like for instance?
Well, for instance, I mean, this is something very basic, like headshots, right? You're supposed to take headshots every year or every 2 years maximum. I worked the first couple of years, well, not couple of years, I worked for the first 10 years with almost the same headshots.
Yes.
Actually, the picture that you have is a picture
Yes.
of about 10 years ago now.
Yes.
So if I don't look the same, don't blame me.
No, no, it's okay.
Um, and
Beauty, is in el corazón, in el
yes,
alma.
I've learned
Yes,
that also.
of course.
Yes.
But
So,
and
and acting and casting rules and things you should or shouldn't do in the room that are very rigid sometimes, right? In
uh,
school. And I just go by my feelings and what the room tells me. So, yeah.
yes. But did you? I know I visited New York, especially during Tribeca Festival, and I took, of course, the time to see a lot of plays on Broadway and off Broadway. I love the theater in New York.
Yes.
And it's a chance to see the big stars of cinema on theater. I remember watching Brian Dennehy. He was great. I used to admire him. And I saw him in New York as well. And many, many actors, they used to have training in, like yourself, in the actor studio. And they work sometime between cinema and theater. But tell me, did you try to look for roles in theater as well, or did you focus on cinema and television?
At the beginning, I focused mostly on TV and film. I did a play in Venezuela.
Uh-huh,
It was a very small character in the play, but I enjoyed it very much because it had dance, which is
uh-huh,
one of my passions. And
uh-huh.
I was a gitana, a gypsy.
Mm,
And then when I came to New York, Stella Adler is theater based school. That's
of
one of their
course.
strengths.
Uh-huh,
But for some reason, film and TV have been, the things that I submit the most. And actually, when you're starting, plays don't pay well, so surviving on
mm-hmm,
theater is very hard.
mm-hmm.
But I do love theater. I actually finished a play 2 weeks ago
Excellent.
here on Theater
Mm,
Row, 42nd Street. It
uh-huh.
was called My Mother's Severed Head, produced by the one and only Bruce Willis. Actually, was the
Great.
executive producer. Yeah.
Great, great. I didn't know he produces, he does work in theater. He started in theater, I remember, before doing the Moonlight series, as far as I remember reading about him, before
Right. And
doing Moonlight and Die Hard. I think he still has the passion for theater.
well, and he's also, it's, I guess, a good-hearted man because the
Yes, yes.
playwright is a friend of his who worked together with him when they were bartenders.
Yes, he was a bartender, of course. Yes,
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes.
So the playwright was friends with
His,
him back in those
his,
days.
yes.
Yes.
And now, right now, I've seen you have a lot of films coming up, and also we have people from CFS Productions, Outer Rim. This is a television series you started to work on.
It's a web series, and they're working on distribution for
Uh,
possibly
uh,
one of the channels. Yes, but it's a
Excellent,
sci-fi, and actually that
excellent.
was my very first sci-fi, and it happened the same thing as my play that I did recently, because I've
Yes,
never done sci-fi. I honestly had not been a fan of sci-fi other than Star Wars and the big classics. Um, but I auditioned for it. And a friend of mine recommended me for the role, and they liked my audition and offered me the role of Captain Commander Webb. And when I read it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is something I want to do." And that set was so fun. Never done sci-fi, but
yes,
that was very fun. Actually,
yes.
they're campaigning and looking for funds to extend
Yes. So you shot
the
a
episode.
pilot, basically, or
Yes,
several episodes.
right.
Yes. Great. I think I all the time I used to love sci-fi since we were child. We watched the Star Wars and Superman, the original one, with Christopher Reeve. So I think it's a genre very popular among teens, and also when they grew up, they still fan of the genre. I know people, who are still Star Trek and Star Wars, although they are in their 50s, 60s or more, you saw it when they
Yeah.
were teen.
Oh my God. Now that I got involved with them, I realized that, yes, I liked it too. I liked watching it. But as an actor, I was never too interested in doing it. But through them, I learned that there's a whole community that is so loyal. Um, oh, I see Outer Rim writing.
Yes.
So they have like this whole community of fans that follow them everywhere, and it's incredible.
Yes. And right now, do you have some stuff you finish and waiting for release? I've seen you have Queen Makeda in post
Hmm.
production and City of
Right.
Gold,
Yes.
and you are
That's from
filming
Ellen
something called
Fraser.
The
Uh-huh.
Bismarck Killer.
Well, actually, that I guess it wasn't updated yet on IMDb. Post
Uh-huh.
production is done. That was a
Uh-huh.
film that I did June, I believe, in
Uh-huh.
LA.
Yes.
It's a feature film, and it's ready. It's done
Yes.
and should be releasing, I guess, December, January.
Excellent. And here on your website, the official website by your name, you have an initiative called Act Feminine. This is
Oh,
correct?
that is
Yes.
correct.
So tell us about it. And I see you have also a YouTube channel. So if you like, you talk about it as well. Do you put only like your show reel, or do you have some content specially made for YouTube?
Yes. Well, Act Feminine is a project different than my acting career. That's more of a personal project. And Act Feminine came about because I realized myself, Nana, was mainly in her masculine energy. And the corporate world is a great place to use that energy and stay in it for a long time, which I did. And
Yes.
I am divorced now, and I assume my responsibility of that as being in my masculine a lot with my partner. That didn't help the relationship. And I decided once I realized this to spread the word and share it with women because, in my opinion, and I get hit left and right with this topic. It's a very, very touchy subject nowadays, especially. But I see many, many of my friends living this way. We are
Uh-huh.
constantly in our masculine energy, which is the goal oriented, the results, the solving of the problems, which we mothers do. Because sometimes I get friends of mine who are housewives and they feel that they are in their feminine energy and they're using it, and they're not. Because you can be a
Yes.
housewife and taking care of kids, but doing it only as a problem solving thing, and you have goals and timelines to meet. Whenever that happens, you're in your masculine. So we women, I don't think we are not enjoying our feminine energy as much as we should, and actually sometimes it's even put down as weak, and which I thought myself too. It's scary. The feminine energy is the vulnerable side of the human being. And also, I'm going to say, it started as a program for women, but it applies to everyone. It applies to men and women. We both have
Uh-huh.
the energies, and I see because of your channel, you you probably have an extensive knowledge of this subject yourself.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah,
And our website as well.
yeah,
Yes.
so that's
Yes.
and the vision. Okay, and I'm just going to
Yes.
share the vision of my Act Feminine started
Sure.
as
Mm-hmm.
we should. My mission is to create a world where women and men collaborate, cooperate, and co-create their shared world together, which is something I don't feel we're doing that much.
Yes, yes, and I think the best solution, for between genders, is to collaborate, and to have a continuous dialogue, regardless culture, age, political, religious views. Dialogue is very important, and we should hear each other as much as we talk to each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I was guilty of not doing it as much as I
Yes,
should have. And I learned, and I paused during COVID for the project, and people were asking me what happened. I'm going to say on this interview for the first time, I haven't said this publicly. I stopped
yes,
during COVID because I realized I still needed to grow some more. There were things
yes,
within me that I still needed to change or transform and embrace. So I took the
yes.
time of COVID to go inside, and that's why I paused. But I shall be back.
Sure. No, no, I hope so. And here we are here. My wife is, by the way, Colombian from Cucuta, which is next to Venezuela border. And we
Yes,
are now in Ecuador, and we hope to receive you here in the nearest event, a festival or something. Maybe next year we organize something. We can have you in Ecuador.
that would be amazing. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay, Nana, I want to thank you very much for live. We should be in touch, and we support you in your acting career, in your feminine initiative. And we hope to see you when we are in New York on stage. It will be great as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to be between New York and California, possibly.
Yes,
So, either here or there. I hope we meet in person. Thank you so much for this
sure.
invitation.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day, lovely evening. Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.